What's happening, everybody? Brett Mix here, Macho Wrestling 101 with another King of the Ring review. This is the second last King of the Ring review and the last with the WWF name. Hit like and subscribe if you like my history of wrestling videos. We put them out every day. And let's get this show started. We got East Rutherford, New Jersey hosting King of the Ring 2001, Sunday night, June the 24th, 2001. 17,777 strong in the Continental Airlines Arena in East Rutherford, New Jersey for King of the Ring 01. Jim Ross and Paul Heyman on commentary. This event got a buy rate of 445,000. That's the second best ever for the WWF for King of the Ring. So, great buy rate. I remember there's just a quick story, just of me ordering this pay-per-view. I was at home on a Saturday night once, and not once, many times I was at home on a Saturday night growing up. For one reason or another. And I was watching Livewire, a show they used to have that built up pay-per-views. And they were just showing the DDP thing with Undertaker and DDP going, "Make me famous." And it just made me think, oh, God, I got to watch this pay-per-view. So I ended up dishing out the $30 or $35, whatever it was at the time. And I ordered it just because of the DDP Make Me Famous thing. So he ends up starting the show, did DDP. He had a promo, and he talked about having footage of Sarah, Undertaker's wife at the time. And Jim Ross goes, "Oh, God." When DDP says he has a personal collection, because the stuff he showed was just PG, JR goes, "Oh, God." What a sick human being. Anyways, opening match, semifinals matches in King of the Ring. One of possible 3 matches for Kurt Angle, who's looking to win back-to-back King of the Rings. He took on Christian in the opening match. It's a semifinals match. Kurt Angle gets hit with a neck breaker early, and unlikely to phase the Olympian, who has history of winning with a sore neck. Angle grounded once for an ankle lock by Christian, but then ran into a beautiful belly-to-belly suplex while the crowd chanted, "Let's go Angle," even though he was the heel. Christian smacked Kurt Angle's head against the steel steps on the outside after Christian's head was hit towards the table. Christian pushed off the top turnbuckle by Angle, and his face hits the outside the barricade, and he went flying. Angle with a gut wrench suplex inside the ring. Angle has Christian run into the knee, and he sends stopping on Christian. Fans chant for Angle as he's taken back, and then hits another gut wrench and another near fall. Christian with an inside cradle out of nowhere to try to get the pinfall, then runs into a snapshot vertical suplex by Angle. Angle with a hard right to Christian, dropping him as it's been all Angle early and often. Christian tries to fight back and hits a spinning heel kick on Angle. Christian down, and Shane runs from the back in his WCW shirt as the owner. Shane will meet Angle later in the night in a street fight, so Shane wants Angle to compete as many times as he can. Angle misses his signature moonsault off the top. Ever since breaking Hardcore Holly's arm, he misses that move. Christian finds an opening with that and hits a backbreaker. Christian goes for the unprettier, but Angle counters it into the ankle lock, and Christian grabs the ropes. Then he gets an unprettier, countered again into an Angle slam. Shane pulled Christian off of Angle. Angle hits a suplex outside the ring apron from outside the ring apron on Christian and back into the ring. An Angle slam is hit at 8:51. Angle wins, and Shane smiles as he goes to the back. Jim Ross and Paul Heyman are wondering why Shane helped Angle win, but we know it's because he wants him to wrestle more, so he's more worn out and injured for the time he gets to the street fight. This was a fast-paced opener, good solid wrestling. I rated it 2 stars and 3/4 for Angle advancing past Christian in the semifinals. Semifinal match number 2, Edge vs. Rhino. Rhino and Edge put on a quick match here. Not so much in the time length, but in the offense. Hard to keep up with the play-by-play, as this one was just going fast. I don't write every move or hold anyway, just try to get what's important. Edge dropped Rhino growing first on the top of the barricade. Edge tossed Rhino into the barricade as he is catapulted into the steel barricade up the entrance aisle. Rhino hits spine first on the entrance aisle. He came back looking to smash Edge in the face. Then his sternum hit exposed steel. Edge then battered in the same corner and speared Edge, but Edge hit his midsection into the turnbuckle. Rhino then grapevines the midsection with a crossbody scissors to Edge. Rhino using his leg power and choked out Edge's midsection, damaging his core. Rhino with the crossbody off the top injuring the core even more of Edge, who chokes out in the corner of the ring. Edge with a reverse boot, an atomic drop to Edge, and now Edge turns the tide with a desperate sunset flip off the top. Rhino with a spinebuster to Edge. Rhino doing a good job all matches. Edge is the underdog, buying himself some time, but Rhino was the first man up after a collision. Edge got a shoulder up and a dramatic near fall. Edge with an inside cradle and a DDT by Edge to Rhino, and he gets the victory out of nowhere. Nice story told, but Edge hits an unbelievable victory out of nowhere as Rhino missed the gore, and Edge gets another DDT for the victory at 10:20. So this is a pretty great match. I rated 3 stars for that semifinal match. So both semifinal matches around the 3-star territory. So it's going to be Edge versus Kurt Angle in the finals. So Angle will wrestle 3 times tonight. Y2J and Benoit are in the back asking who's going to defect to WCW if they win the WWF title. There's a rumor going around. Nothing made sense in the early days of the invasion. Is Shane a heel or a face with WCW? And why are the faces wanting to go to a heel group, supposedly? And if it is a babyface group, then what is the WWF? When the WWF fought in the invasion, they were the faces. So nothing made any sense. They just bought WCW and they're wondering what to do with it. So they're trying to throw things at the wall to see what would stick. So that's what we're getting pretty much at this King of the Ring pay-per-view as far as the invasion storyline goes. As far as wrestling goes, the wrestling was quite good, so at least there's that contrast. Also, the invasion started to make less and less sense as it went on. Also, Austin wanted to know if Vince was going to show up, so he was nervous about the 3-way world title match, of course, and he wanted Vince McMahon to be there as a insurance policy. The Dudley Boys defeated Spike Dudley and a mystery partner who ended up being Kane. So whenever there's a partner to find, it's more often it's going to be Kane. Whenever a person on Raw has to find a mystery partner, it's Kane. By God, it's Kane. Spike Dudley is bullied by his brothers here, while his girlfriend Molly was on his side. Kane evened the odds, and he took down both Dudley brothers with a hard clothesline. Spike continues from there and is elevated by Bubba as he throws him towards Kane, who throws him back on Bubba, and he gets a near fall. A big boot by Kane and another near fall. Devon tags in and dropped with a drop toe hold. Kane hits a leg drop to Devon on the canvas floor. Spike abused by the official while the Dudleys double-teamed him. Kane did damage, but Spike almost pins Bubba after the Dudley Dog. Both Dudleys suplex Kane at the same time as Devon goes up for the Wazop headbutt. A 3D by the Dudleys to Spike, and they get the 3 count at 8:24. After the match, Kane chokeslammed Bubba through the table. The match got 2 stars and a quarter. The 1999 King of the Ring next is at WWF New York, Billy Gunn, Mr. Ass, and he wasn't even upset. He wasn't even in the tournament. He was upset about that. So Gunn is pissed off, and rightfully so. I can't say any of us are complaining that he's not on the card. Finals, Edge versus Kurt Angle in the finals of the King of the Ring tournament. It's apparent that Shane helped Angle earlier so he could go through more matches. This is the second match of the night for Kurt Angle. Christian and Edge had a backstage segment foreshadowing to Christian's eventual heel turn. That didn't take place until September on a Raw from Toronto back in 2001, but this is in June, so they played that story out long. Christian told Edge he was out there just to help him out, and Edge goes, "What else would you be out there for?" Kurt Angle hilariously says to Edge on the mic to let him win as a friend, and he says, "I think I know you," playing on his entrance theme. "You think you know me." Angle looking to make it back-to-back King of the Rings. He hit a belly-to-belly over the top to the floor on Edge. Amazing spot. And Angle sends the injured ribs of Edge into the steps on the outside after suplexing him all the way to the floor. Angle grabs Edge back in the ring and hits a side suplex. Angle sets him on top of the top turnbuckle. Edge rolled off into an inside cradle, but Angle got a belly-to-belly overhead throw, getting him another near fall. Snapmare into a reverse chinlock by Angle, using his amateur background and leverage advantage on the canvas floor to get up another near fall. Then he tossed Edge to the outside again. Edge is still reeling from that amazing belly-to-belly from the floor with his injured ribs. Edge drops over the barricade right to where DDP was watching the show in the front row. Edge drop-kicked Angle. Edge and Kurt exchange fists, but Edge gets a few clotheslines and a fall-away slam. Angle missed a dropkick and had catapulted Angle at almost a 3 count there. Edge hit with an Olympic slam, but no, it's countered into a Edge DDT, and And then, no, he counters that into an ankle lock. All these counters, then we get an execution instead. Christian runs to the ring. Angle from behind with a roll-up, and Edge gets out again. Edge then caught the boot, but Edge runs into the official. Angle then has Edge in the ankle lock, and Edge is tapping as Angle should have been the king of the ring back-to-back, but Shane comes into the ring and spears Angle. Edge then waits for Angle to get up and hits an Impaler DDT, and the official counts to 3. Edge becomes the new king of the ring at 10:20. Fun little match here for the King of the Ring final. I rate it 3 stars and a quarter. Good little match. Another good little match next after this is for the light heavyweight title. Jeff Hardy defends against X-Pac. X-Pac had heat at the time. X-Pac heat. Some high-octane offense in this match. Jeff walking across the barricade, came off with a flying clothesline, so he walked the barricade right by the entranceway and flew off with a flying clothesline. X-Pac then, who the crowd hated, slaps on an abdominal stretch to Jeff Hardy. A hip block by X-Pac. Jeff in control, waiting for it. They came back and forth. Both these men with a lot of high moves. X-Pac with a Fez press. An awkward botch in the corner. Jeff comes out of the other corner with a whisper in the wind. And they botched a double collision where both men were going for something else, and they ended up knocking into each other. I don't think that was planned. An X Factor and a 3 count, even though Jeff's foot was on the ropes. So I don't know if that was planned either. The ref counted to 3, even though the foot was on the ropes. So they said that wasn't a pinfall. X-Pac is pissed, and rightfully so. X-Pac then went for an X Factor, but Jeff countered it up and went for a DDT instead. X-Pac with Hardy, he pushed him down, and Jeff hit a swanton bomb and gets the 3 count at 7:10. Some good action, but some sloppiness also takes some points off, so I rated it 2 stars and a quarter. Backstage, Austin bothers both Commissioner Regal and Tajiri using their phone, and Austin says on the phone to Vince, "It's Steve." And then he goes, "It's Steve Austin." And then he goes, "It's Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Federal Wrestling Federation champion." He says he needs him. Next is the brawl between DDP and The Undertaker. Truth be told, it wasn't much of one. I don't like how they booked DDP here. If they're going to make him the stalker, fine, but they just had him get his ass kicked by Undertaker and had him run off. And the whole thing was about DDP saying, "Make me famous." I'm pretty sure DDP was plenty famous in WCW. He was on Jay Leno. He main evented with Jay Leno. He was the WCW champion. He fought Goldberg at Halloween Havoc 98. He was pretty over. And he was a multi-time WCW champion. So I'm pretty sure DDP was famous, but he wanted to be famous in the Undertaker way. So Sarah filmed DDP to get back for all the stalking footage. And the Undertaker basically just kicked his ass. And that was the segment. No rating. Kurt Angle versus Shane McMahon in a street fight. So the story here was pretty complex. Take a big breather for this one because this is a complex story. In the match, Angle failed to suplex McMahon through a plate glass window, which was part of the set. The set was one of the best sets they've ever had. It was a King of the Ring crown chair, throne, and plexiglass all at the bottom. And Angle, it was supposed to be breakable glass in 2 of the parts, and it wasn't. And they didn't know that until they was suplexed and Shane landed on his head on the concrete a couple times. So it was quite brutal, but we'll get there. Something about King of the Ring pay-per-views that bring out the brutality in matches like Hell in a Cell between Foley and Taker. Shane was a tough competitor as he proved his worth, but this with a lot of bumps all through the years. But this match got a whole new level of respect, not just for the brutality, but for the chain wrestling he started off with Angle. This is a street fight, and both guys tried to do amateur moves with each other, and they started the match out that way. Shane McMahon with offense early and often, and hit a drop toe hold into a front face lock, and then slapped Angle a little bit, showing him that he can work a catch-as-catch-can style. Angle goes down on all fours and says, "Okay, you want to work that match? Let's go." Angle got down on all fours in a downward dog position as the fans, some of them laughed as it looked awkward. Angle then rolled out of it and clobbered Shane McMahon once he decided to ride. That sounded wrong, but once he decided to ride him, It sounded wrong. But once you guys know what I mean. Amateur wrestling where they ride the back. That sounded wrong. But anyways, the Angle clobbered him in the head over and over when he started to ride Angle's back into a suplex. There we go. And then Angle clobbered him with a forearm over and over and over into a reverse chin lock. Angle at every turn looked for a cheap shot or a quick hold to get leverage. Angle with extra adrenaline, this being his third match of the night, but plenty of fatigue as well. He had plenty of anger as he was cost back to the King of the Ring titles by Shane. Angle viciously attacked Shane while in the hold. Angle said, "Let's go," in another amateur hold. Shane comes and kicked him in the sternum instead. Shane beats on him with rights and lefts. Shane slides out of the ring, and good ring awareness to slide out. Angle chases him around the ring, and eventually they wrestle to the barricade wall. Shane climbed the other barricade behind the table and leaped over the announce table with a flying clothesline. Shane takes chance after chance. Underrated bump there. Shane gets a kendo stick and goes to war with Angle. This is Shane McMahon's best match of his career. I don't know if it's close either. Shane drives Angle into the post and then slams him on the concrete. Shane with a hip lock into the barricade. Both guys taking big bumps now. Shane dove from behind the announce table with a flying clothesline, and now he's hip locking Angle into the barricade wall. This gets a near fall. Shane gets a piece of wood and a platform and trash can lids, and Angle is opened up already with blood. And Shane McMahon hits with a trash can lid to Kurt Angle in the head. And Angle continued to get hit by the head with the steel as it made a loud thud sound. Shane falls down due to fatigue, but he sets a sharpshooter up, and he gets a sharpshooter in on Angle, and he fell down out of fatigue in that sharpshooter. Shane then stood up and locked it on. Angle then grabs the ropes, as Heyman says they would be humiliating if he lost being tapped out. Angle used his three eyes to get out of the sharpshooter by grabbing a kendo stick and hitting Shane over the head with it. Both men break the 10 count with both of them down as they stand up at 9. It's not a last man standing match, but they both were down for a 9 count. Shane holds the trash can on Angle. I wonder why, if it's a street fight. I wonder why they do the either way. Shane holds the trash can on Angle and goes up to the top rope and delivers a shooting star press, but Angle moved out of the way and crashed into the mat hard. This was an underrated bump in the match because Shane, when he hit the shooting star press, hit his head into the corner of the trash can, and he looked like he was out of it from that shot alone. So I think part of the concussion he sustained was from that. Not only the head bump, and he's not the only head bump he'll take in this match, to say the least. Fall-away slam by Angle with a fireman's carry takeover. Angle with Shane McMahon up, and he suplexes him to the... Kurt Angle then grabs Shane as the two go up the entranceway, and Shane McMahon is slammed into the barricade wall once again. Both men brawled to their feet, and Shane slammed Angle into the ring post. Angle went to suplex Shane through the glass, but it wasn't after they got to the entranceway. But the glass wasn't breakable, so when he suplexed him, Shane hit on the concrete floor head first. He did it again, at this time it broke. Shane was suplexed twice into the glass, and all the broken glass is sticking into him and out. Angle's shoulder got busted open. He's bleeding. There's glass all over Angle as well. Angle tries to drive Shane through the plate glass on the inside of the stage, through the outside, so he suplexes Shane into the glass, but it doesn't break, and Shane lands on his head as the crowd go, "Oh!" And Shane is out of it. Angle doesn't know what to do, so he grabs Shane again, and he suplexes him through the glass, and it doesn't break again, so Shane lands on his head again, and he's out of it. This is where people thought maybe Vince will leave Gorilla, but Vince wasn't supposed to be on the screen, so somebody would come from the back and end it, but it didn't. It was close, probably. Shane then he was out, and Angle thought he was knocked out, so what Angle did is he threw him head first through the glass, and this time it broke, and Shane just flew through. Well, on the replay, it looked even sicker when Shane just comes through. He's busted open, and he's got glass sticking out of him. He's been suplexed and dropped on concrete through glass, twice, and then this time it goes headfirst through the glass from the inside out. Angle then tries to pin him on the broken glass, and Shane actually kicks out. I'm not sure if he even kicked out. I'm just sure that the ref knew it wasn't the time to count the 3. And Angle was, he was just crying almost. Angle, when he doesn't get the 3 count, he does that crying, and he's all bloody, and he couldn't believe it. The only way Angle was able to get Shane to the ring was to push him to a cart, blood and glass on both guys. Angle covered Shane in the ring, but he kicked out, as the fans can't believe it. Shane hit with trash can lid. I was about to hit a low blow on Kurt's head and Angle got Shane up on the top on the wooden platform. Just before that, Angle catapulted Shane into the ring post, and he was hanging upside down. Then they went on the wooden platform. Angle got Shane up on the wooden platform, and Olympic slams him off the top. So at 25:58, Angle defeated Shane McMahon after an amazing Angle slam off the top to a battered and out of it Shane at 25:58. Amazing, amazing, amazing. 4.5-star classic. This was Angle's 3rd match of the night. Both men are down and out of it at the end of the match. Shane can't even open his eyes, and he gets a standing ovation. So I gave this 4.5 stars. A lot of people gave it 4.5 stars. Maybe some even gave it higher. This was a classic, best Shane McMahon match. One of the best matches to ever happen at King of the Ring. And one of Kurt Angle's best matches as well. And that's saying something, because Kurt Angle's had a lot of matches in the 4.5 to 5-star category, in my opinion. So next up, we had a main event between Austin defending the title against Benoit and Jericho. This review's gone a little bit longer than I planned. I usually like to keep these reviews around 20 minutes for a pay-per-view, but if it goes on longer, that means there's more to talk about. And we had to talk a lot about that Shane McMahon match. I'm not going to rush this review because since we're out of the main event, hopefully everybody's okay with that. I'm sure a lot of people do hour-long reviews, so I'm sure people are okay if I go longer than 20 minutes. Luckily, Austin, different pace here as we go to a more technical match where luckily Austin has revisioned himself, revolutionized himself. Revived is the word I'm looking for. Sorry. Too much reviewing here. Austin revived his inner self from 1997 to be wrestled the way he did in 2001 with Angle and Benoit and his technical style. You can't complain about that. Guys like Angle, Jericho, and Benoit made Austin wrestle that technical style that he used to against guys like Bret, Mero, Steamboat. Not saying Mero is in Bret or Steamboat's class, but Austin wrestled that technical style against those guys and the likes. So it's Triple H, Jericho, Angle, Benoit all made Austin wrestle that technical style. Imagine if we would have got Austin versus Eddie Guerrero at King of the Ring the next year. We'll get into that at King of the Ring 02 review, but that would have been a classic as well. Benoit is shown in the back doing those squats he's now famously known for after all the stories of the squats Benoit does repeatedly. Austin is mad Vince isn't here. He's more scared as he keeps looking into the back for Vince. Will either Chris defeat Austin for the title? Both men get a good ovation, as does Austin as a heel, who has a cool red and black bionic redneck vest. Austin kept looking to the back to see if Vince would come. Jericho and Benoit waste no time as Austin's standing in the entrance aisle, and they both run to Austin and meet him with right hands and chops. The faces get Austin in the corner as their bell rings, and they chop the hell out of him. Austin comes back, and Benoit and Jericho break up the pinfall attempt as they go face-to-face wondering what the hell each other's problem is. But both men want the title, so Jericho and Benoit get into an argument. Austin thrown into the corner, and both men punch him and chop him. Austin found himself on the south end of a double team a lot of the times during this match, as both men went to work on Austin in a handicap situation most of the match, as one expected because he's in there with two baby faces. Jericho helped Benoit up, but then hammered him into the corner. Jericho and Benoit going at it while Austin takes the top turnbuckle off. Austin and Jericho then take Benoit out of the ring. It didn't take long for Jericho and Benoit to turn on each other. Stone Cold tees off on Jericho with rights and misses an elbow, and Jericho counters a Thez press attempt looking for the walls, but Benoit broke that up. Benoit suplexes Jericho all the way to the floor from inside the ring. Big bump by Jericho. Going down over to the floor by Benoit. Benoit elevated him to the floor. Heyman says Benoit scares him because if he wins the title, he could defect to WCW in Madison Square Garden. Benoit with a submission, but grabbed resourceful in-ring awareness by Austin grabbing the rope. Benoit suplexed Austin and then hit her with a reverse elbow. Benoit with a lateral press and a near fall. Austin slammed Benoit into the steps on the outside. Austin stomps on Benoit while Jericho is still down. There's just an alarm clock. Sorry about that. Benoit grabbed the title on the outside and then went to strike Austin because there's no disqualification between the eyes. Jericho covers Austin after a long 2. Benoit breaks up the pinfall attempt. Austin goes to put Y2J in the walls and he counters it. Austin's then taken down. The three wrestle some more and they tease false finishes. Austin tapped out to the crossface in the walls of Jericho, but Hebner said no because there's only one man that can win. Jericho charged to Benoit and he locked the crossface on Jericho. Then Jericho went for the walls, but he battled back with chops. Snap suplex by Benoit to Jericho in a near fall. All of a sudden, Austin grabs a chair on the outside. We're not quite there yet. A baseball slide to Austin, ramming him to the floor. Jericho counters a front face lock, slamming Benoit to the floor. All of a sudden, Booker T runs out from the crowd. For the first time ever on WWF TV, Booker T hits a scissors kick to Austin and then side suplexes him to the table as Austin is hurt. Security goes for Booker T as he's not a part of the WWF. He's the WCW champion at the time. Benoit then released German suplex 3 times, but Jericho with a roll through and counters into the walls of Jericho, but Benoit doesn't tap. Austin down on the floor still, taken out by Booker T, legitimately injured himself on that landing. Benoit injured Y2J shoulder first into the post. Jericho and Benoit wrestle for a while. Benoit then puts Jericho up at the top and hits a superplex off the top rope to the canvas floor, and this is where Benoit injures his neck. He'd be out for a year, and we were robbed of a lot of dream matches because of Benoit being out for a year. Austin covers Benoit out of nowhere and gets the 3 count at 27:52 after the superplex takes Jericho out by Benoit. Benoit was also hurt from it. Luckily, that was the last move as Benoit injured his neck on the move, and Austin was injured. So luckily, both the finishing moves, Austin through the table and Benoit's superplex, both of those were the last moves by both men, and they were both the injured moves that injured each other. So luckily for Austin and Benoit, they didn't receive further injury because those were the moves that injured them were the last moves they had to take of the night. I think there was enough excitement and technique in this main event with all the bumping and the injuries to put it at 4 stars, so I keep it at 4 stars. This event overall shows the main events held their own. Shane McMahon and Angle, the King of the Ring by Edge, the DDP Undertaker segment. I gave this King of the Ring overall a 7 out of 10. I think it was a good event, but just good. They could have done better, but at the same time, there was enough classic material on this show to say it's not necessarily a must-watch, but it's definitely worth a watch. So that's King of the Ring. We'll see. We got one more King of the Ring to do, and that's 2002 with Brock Lesnar. And unfortunately, Austin's not a part of that as he walked out and as he regrets. Thank you so much for tuning into this longer review. We'll try to make it shorter next time. But I'm sure you guys, if you're along this far, you're along for the ride and you've already subscribed and liked. If not, feel free to do that. I'm Brett Mix, and we'll see you on the next King of the Ring, and I'm out.